Ah, we're live. Okay. Okay. Uh, I hope that everyone can see this link. Okay, I just want to post this link up so everyone else knows. Um, seems to have been a problem with the YouTube stream. It wasn't letting us go live. Hello? Post that link for the students on the LMS, the new link. You can use my machine. If you go to what? No, just do it. I only got two. Okay. Maybe because I'm talking soft. Let's see. How about now? So I had to switch machines. For some reason, the YouTube wasn't letting us go live. Mhm. Mm. Okay. Maybe if I bring the mic closer. Okay. So I think one of the problems is my voice is naturally quite soft. Ah, cool. Okay, so um, we had a small issue with the stream, so I had to switch machines for whoever's joining us now. So Talha is just posting the new link for new students to join the new stream. Um, just like last time, Bilal couldn't make it, so I've taken over his stream, and the topic, like the thumbnail said, was why does IT Varsity have a 100% pass mark? So it's an interesting question. And when we tell students this, the immediate reaction is naturally shock, because it's they think it's difficult. But let me tell it to you in a story, um, why this is. See, when I got my first job as a designer, I started as a web designer, and I remember my first piece. I worked really hard at it. It was actually not even a website. It was an email newsletter, an HTML email newsletter, and I worked really hard at it. I stayed up till late. I worked through the weekend, and I delivered it. But to my disappointment, it wasn't what the client wanted. When I go there, the client was, nope, he doesn't like this, and he wanted me to change that. He didn't like the way something was placed, and honestly, I got a little bit disheartened. But I went back and I started to fix those changes, and then I go back, and then there was more changes that they wanted. There was things that they didn't like, and now I was getting a bit irritated now, because I thought, listen, I will do this job. I'll just work on it. I'll submit it, and I can get paid, and I can go home. It doesn't work like that, right? So I think I must have been back to the client, back and forth with the client about 8 to 9 times, until finally they were okay with it and they signed it off. So the reason I'm telling you this is, in the real world, when what I found, and this was after I just came out of school, after I studied and got my first job, is that when somebody is paying you to do a job, when you're working for someone or you're a freelancer, there is an expectation of you, and that expectation is 100%. They're not going to accept anything less than that. In school, it's different. What we were taught is, you have a 30% pass mark or 40% pass mark. You get A, B, and C, and if you don't achieve the full, you can still pass. But in the real world, it doesn't really work like that, and it was a hard lesson for me to learn. It was, I was not expecting that. I thought, if I put in all this effort, I do this job once, they're gonna love it. So in Varsity, with our projects, with the practical assignments, we thought, why should it be any different from the real world? The goal is to prepare our students for the real world. Is to prepare you for when you're getting a job, when you're sitting in front of a boss and presenting your work. You need to know that there is an expectation of you there, and that expectation is 100%. So that is why, for the assignments, if you look at the projects, that our pass mark is no less than 100%. And look, it still might be a bit scary to some people. A lot of students still ask me about it, but we do want you to learn from your mistakes. That's the most important part. So you are given unlimited attempts. In fact, it's automatic. If you submit an assignment, for example, and we go through the assignment, and we see, maybe in your code, let's say, um, it's not commented properly, or there's mistakes in your spelling, your syntax is not that good, and we mark you down, it automatically, on the system, will allow you to retry that assignment. We'll tell you exactly where you went wrong. You can fix it, resubmit it, and try for a better mark, a better score. And what you would have done by doing that is, subconsciously, you've learned how to avoid that mistake in the future. Now, the next time, you're not going to make that same mistake, and you just became better. Now, it's the same when you're working with a client, like I mentioned. They will make you go back uh, tens and of times, and I know it. When I used to work for clients, it's extremely annoying, especially when you put so much effort in and they tell you that it's not good enough. So that is the logic. That is the reason why IT Varsity has a 100% pass mark. Okay, cool. I can see some more students are just joining us now. Okay, so just to recap for whoever joined us now, um, I was just telling a story of how when I got my first job as a designer, my first contract was to make an email newsletter, an HTML email newsletter, which I worked really hard on. This was, by the way, it must have been about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I worked through the weekend to complete this newsletter. And in my mind, I was doing everything correctly. I um, I was researching and making sure that every single image and every single word is pixel perfect. But when I went to the client, they didn't like it. And they had problems with it. They had changes to make. They sent me back. I go back, I fix it. I go back to them. And they say again, nope, we don't like this. And I went back and forth about 9 times until they finally accepted it. So the what I was trying to say in the story is that when you're working for a client, either as a freelancer or when you get a job, the client's expectation of you is 100%. And at IT Varsity, with our projects, we have a 100% pass mark, and it's for that exact reason. We want you to learn from those mistakes. So we don't just mark your work against a score sheet and that's it. We mark your work against your own work. We know what you're capable of. We see your work. We know where you make mistakes. So when we mark your work, think about it like this. Think about it when you're submitting your work, actually. Think about it in this way, that you are submitting your work to a client, because that's the way we mark it. We'll say, okay, what if I hired Nosipo to make the image gallery app? Okay, and she delivers this app. Will I be happy with it? And that's how we mark it. And if we are unhappy with anything, we let you know. We say, okay, maybe here you can improve, and you resubmit. And what you don't know is you've just got better at making an app. So yeah, that's the reason behind the 100% mark. So anybody in the stream so far has any questions? Anybody new just joining us? Can I answer any questions for you guys? Tala, what about you? Do you have any questions? By the way, if anytime you have an issue and you ask a question, it's either me or Talha who responds, who gets those messages. Time limit for the course. Okay, so according to the CETA, the accreditation body, the time limit is, Talha, just correct me if I'm wrong, it's 15 months. Okay, so you're given a total of 15 months to complete the entire course, including the practical and the theory sections, and this will get you your qualification. But we do encourage you to finish it much quicker than that. We don't want you to spend too much time studying. See, it is online, so it's not like a lecture room where you have to follow a time limit. You can go faster. You can finish it between 6 months to a year. And what that means is that you get your qualification quicker and you can get out in the world quicker. So yeah, to answer your question, you given 15, it's somewhere between 15 to 18 months, but I would definitely recommend you finish it in not more than a year. I hope that helps. Do you want to add anything else? Cool, cool. Just remember, at any time you have any student has a question, you can either ask us via the chat, send us an email, um, drop us a message on Instagram if you feel, or Facebook, WhatsApp even. We always love to hear from you guys. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions for the stream right now, oh, there's one more. Okay, how Christopher has asked, how will you know if you have to redo an assignment? Okay, so there's two ways. Oh well, there's only one way. Once your assignment has been marked, you should get a notification that this teacher or instructor, whoever's account it, has marked your work, and this is the grade you have received. If you've received a if you didn't reach the pass mark, which is like I said 100%, then it'll send you an email to say that your assignment has been reopened. You can try to resubmit it. If for any reason you don't get any of these emails, please let us know. The other way to check your assignments is if you go to the project and look at the assignment, then it I think, if I'm not mistaken, it reverts it back to a draft and it gives you a summary of your last score. Okay, so you should actually get an email saying that you can redo the assignment. Okay, we have another question from Nosipo. Mhm. Okay, so Nosipo, you asked about WordPress. Now, WordPress is a is a framework, right? It's a web development framework. I encourage you to go and have a look at WordPress. It's open source, means it's completely free to use. And what WordPress does is it saves you a lot of time when you're trying to make your website by adding structure and putting in things like the links and the headers and navigation bars and all that. Now, WordPress is built because it's web. It's built in HTML5, exactly what you guys are learning, and PHP. Now, you might be excited to know that there is a WordPress course, but you don't get it just yet. Um, for now, we want you to learn the real code behind it, because with WordPress, you don't need to know coding at all. It does help when you need to customize WordPress or you want to make any changes to it. But for now, we don't touch WordPress, but we will, because when you're making professional websites for clients, you will be doing it in WordPress. But it's always good to have an understanding of the code first. That really helps. That sets you apart from anybody else who just knows how to use a framework, because you don't just know how to use the framework, but you can actually change it, you can make edits to it, and you can customize it however you want. So yeah, the WordPress in fact, the IT Varsity's website is built in WordPress, and WordPress is responsible for, Tala, correct me if I'm wrong, I think more than 50% of the websites on the internet. I might be a bit wrong with that one, but it's the most popular web development framework in the world, and it will be coming into the Appreneur course soon. Okay. Another question Nasipo has asked is, how do we save our work online? Um, we tackled a similar question in the last stream. Um, the way we do that is with a server. In order for your HTML and CSS code to be viewed online, it needs to live on a server. And I think last week the question was, how do we give your code an address like www.mywebsite.com? And I explained that right now your code is living on your hard drive on your computer. For it to be online, it needs to live on a server that's hosted by a company, and they will give you that link, that URL, whatever you choose, www.nosiposwebsite.com, and then you'll be able to see it online. So that again is coming soon. We actually negotiating a deal with, this is for the IT varsity students, with a company to get our students hosting accounts, so that you don't have to pay an exorbitant price for it. um, so yeah, we definitely working on that, because besides the WordPress course, you are going to be doing a lot of JavaScript and PHP, which are two massive languages for coding the web. Okay, so Nasifa, has that answered your question, or should I try again? Awesome. Don't forget to just reach out at any time if any of you guys have any questions at all, any time of the night. We will try our best to respond. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut the stream here. Um, Hopefully next time we won't have the hassle with YouTube. But I want to thank you guys for joining in. I really appreciate it. Being an online college, you don't really get to see each other a lot. Um, but I really look forward to having these streams, at least to catch up with our students. Nasiba, are we able to get this? Okay, yes. Talha will actually save this, and I'll get him to send it to you guys. I noticed a few of the students might not have been watching it. Okay. It'll also be uploaded to the YouTube channel as well, so you can check it out there. Okay, so again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Please keep in touch, and I look forward to chatting in the next one. Oh, Nasibu just. Oh, of course. Okay, so yeah, even from our other facilities, students could not make it, so we will post this for you for them. Okay, cool. Catch you guys later. Bye.